Road travel is the most interconnected transportation system in Nigeria and the most used means of movement, as millions ply the road every day to reach their destination. While it is convenient, available, reliable and cheap, is it safe? Now, the high rate of road accidents and fatalities pose big challenge for road transportation for quite some time, which is blamed largely on deplorable conditions of roads, poor maintenance of vehicles, overspeeding and careless driving, ineffective enforcement of traffic rules and regulations. According to the World Health Organization estimates, road fatalities in Nigeria constitute 2.82% of the global total and ranked 54th in the world. The implication is the loss of productive population, robbing the nation of its valuable human and material resources. Experts say to have a positive road safety outcome, a strong management in all aspects of road safety is key. While many blame bad roads for these accidents, data suggests that most crashes are caused by human factor. Now, stakeholders have urged governments at all levels to see road safety as a national emergency, as Nigeria does not lack good roads, but there should be a concrete and sustained policy action to address the road safety question and implementation of traffic regulations in order to ensure that safety is key, while only trained and certified drivers are allowed to ply the road. As the solution lies more in changing bad driving habits, including fixing bad roads. The question is, which of these comes first? This is Weekend Fired on the NTA network service of the NTA. My guest is Dr. Alibiu, Corps Marshal, Federal Road Safety Commission. He's here to talk about this burning issue. I am Jumma Yusuf. First, let's get the news. King Charles III is crowned king in a ceremony full of symbolism inside Westminster Abbey, London. Charles Afra reports that the set-piece coronation is the first in Britain in 70 years, and Charles III is the 40th reigning monarch to be crowned at the Central London Church since King William in 1066.
Wearing his grandfather's crimson velvet robe, King Charles was anointed with holy oil before the St. Edward's crown was placed on his head.
Receive this ring, symbol of kingly dignity and a sign of the covenant sworn this day between God and King. God save the King! God save King Charles! Long live King Charles! May the King live forever!
Camilla, the Queen Consort, was thereafter crowned with Queen Mary's crown in a similar ceremony as Prince of Wales, William, and the congregation pledged allegiance to the King.
I, William, Prince of Wales, pledge my loyalty to you, and faith and truth I will bear unto you.
The Lord lift up the light of his countenance upon you, and give you his peace.
The Lord protect you in all your ways.
The Lord give you hope and happiness, that you may inspire all your people in the imitation of his unchanging love.
About 2,200 people, including the royal family, celebrities, faith leaders and heads of state, were inside the abbey to witness the event. The King and Queen Consort Camilla arrived for the service in the Diamond Jubilee State Coach. Thousands of people braved the rain to line the route from Buckingham Palace through central London. After the coronation ceremony, there was a second large procession before the couple appeared on the palace balcony. King Charles is the 40th reigning monarch to be crowned at the Central London Church since King William I in 1066. Outside the UK, he is also king of 14 other Commonwealth countries. Charles Alpha, NTA News.
Long live the king. Now, the President-elect Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu has congratulated King Charles III on his coronation as the British King and the head of the Commonwealth. In a statement, Tinubu noted the display of splendor of the British monarchy and the rich tradition and exhibition at the coronation as the world literally came to a standstill. The President-elect expressed his belief that King Charles III will follow in the glorious footsteps of his late mother, Queen Elizabeth II, and even surpass her achievements. He also expressed hope in stronger British-Nigerian bilateral ties moving forward. Now to an update on the Sudan crisis. Federal government has so far evacuated 638 Nigerians from Sudan to Nigeria in 4 flights. Musa Baba Ali reports that 132 of them arrived Abuja this Saturday.
Mariam Nawal is a student of medicine in Sudan. She is among the 600 Nigerians evacuated from the war-torn country. Her worry and that of other students is their education.
But it hasn't been easy.
Hopefully I'll find somewhere better to start from or resume from. I don't know which one yet.
Chairperson Nigerians in Diaspora Commission Abike Dabri Erewa said government is looking for a way out for the students.
The federal government committee work with the Ministry of Education to get universities in Nigeria that have online courses that are partnered with their own university. And a lot of them are just putting at the ball with the over and level of continuing education. Some of them have just one semester to go. So that, I think, is a major anxiety now, and urge the authorities to see how that can happen. Because of the pain, you have to some universities there, some schools where we have some.
The concerns of parents whose children are yet to be evacuated is their safety.
Sometimes I get information from the committee, I get back to the parents, so I'm like the middle person, and we're happy the children have started coming anyway.
You know, we had 501, first 2 returns, and then today we have 132 persons. And so far we have taken care of, their needs, immediate needs, hotel, feeding.
In the meantime, the flight that returned from Port Sudan this Saturday evacuated 132 women and children. Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
Let's talk political matters. The Presidential Transition Council has disowned a fake program of events for the presidential inauguration currently in circulation on social media. Chairman of the council, Boss Mustafa, in a statement says the inauguration committee of the Presidential Transition Council has reached advanced stages in its preparation for peaceful and orderly transfer of power on May 29, 2023. The SGF disclosed that the approved program of events would commence from Monday, 22nd May 2023 and would be unveiled at a World Press Conference scheduled for Thursday, 18th May 2023. Boss Mustafa cautions purveyors of fake news to desist forthwith from peddling falsehood in an attempt to mislead unsuspecting members of the public. Nigeria is deepening its democratic process, and the Sir Ahmadu Bello Foundation is driving the campaign for quality leadership in the country through credible elections. At the 9th annual memorial lecture of Sir Ahmadu Bello held in Lafia, Nasarawa State, Chief of Staff to President Muhammadu Buhari, Professor Ibrahim Gambari, says outcome of the 2023 elections attests to the fact that Nigeria is committed to democracy. Ali Tijani reports.
2023 elections are over, though without legal battle shifted to the court. But stakeholders have continued to take stock of the exercise, identify challenges to chart a way forward. The 9th annual Sir Ahmadu Bello Memorial Lecture is one of such platforms where issues of credible elections are discussed. Stakeholders describe the theme as timely.
We believe that if Nigeria gets it right, many African countries will do so.
Chief of Staff to President Muhammadu Buhari, Professor Ibrahim Gambari says, though electoral processes in the country are not without challenges, effort of President Muhammadu Buhari to bequeath Nigerian legacy of credible elections must be commended owing to the outcomes of 2023 elections.
I believe firmly that if we all come together, we can rebuild Nigeria as the greatest country in Africa and one of the leading nations in the world. But most of us politicians who have benefited actually from the legacies of Sardauna today, we find it very difficult to remember him, and that is sad. It is important that we devote attention to recruiting quality leaders who are capable of steering our nation in the right direction. I can hear the Sardauna telling us that merit is the touchstone of true and sustainable development.
It is expected that views expressed and suggestions proffered at the lectures will make input as Nigeria strives to deepen its democracy. In Lafia, Aliu Tijani, NTA News.
As the campaign for the leadership of the 10th National Assembly intensify, plans by the leadership of the governing All Progressives Congress towards producing a consensus leadership for the 10th National Assembly has received a boost. Some contenders for the position of the Senate President have dropped their ambition to support the joint ticket of former Governor of Akwa Ibom State, Godswill Akpabio, and Senator Jibril Barrow as Senate President and Deputy Senate President. Salih Gwanara reports.
Meetings at night to take strategic political decisions is a common practice among the politicians. Senators-elect across political parties converged on their Ebonyi State Governor's Lodge in Asokoro, Abuja, for a meeting held behind closed doors. At the end, Governor David Umahi and Senator Ali Ndume told journalists that they have dropped their ambition to contest the President of the 10th Senate and agreed to pilot the Akpabio Barrow ticket as the choice of the President-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
I saw the President-elect on his invitation, and he told me that he's already committed, and he said, please don't run. And I accepted, and I stepped down for my brother, Senator Akpabio.
Because he is the President's preferred candidate, and we have to put the interest of the party above any other interest. I give all glory to Almighty God, and I've always said, Inshallah, the will of God will be done in Nigeria. Well, I stand by all what he said. Thank you very much.
Meanwhile, convener of the Forum of First-Time Senators, Saliu Mustafa, said the group will make its position known on the choice of the leadership of the 10th Senate after due consultation.
At the end of the day, so that we can endorse whoever we believe will protect and will serve and will give us that leadership we desire in the Senate.
I am bound by whatever decision that is taken by my party as to where the Senate presidency and the Deputy Senate presidency is zoned to.
While senators-elect, particularly those of APC extraction, await the decision of the party on zoning of the National Assembly leadership positions, the ticket of Akpabio and Barrow is becoming popular in Abuja. Salih Gwanara, NTA News.
Now, barely 3 weeks to the May 29th presidential inauguration, the APC National Integrity Movement has paid a solidarity visit to some event planners ahead of the national ceremony and promised to close ranks for a peaceful transition within the APC fold. At the Unity Fountain, the movement insists that strengthening the bond of unity through colorful activities as put together by several support groups at the countdown to the presidential inauguration will champion a national cause devoid of avoidable distractions.
We believe it's important for us to come and appreciate these young people that has been here for the past 39 days, showing support, organizing and activities, showing solidarity for our candidate and Nigerians. So that is why we are here. You can see what show is one Nigeria. Almost all the tribe are there, dancing, receiving people, appreciating them, showing love. That shows that Nigerians appreciate the candidate they elected. Nigerians appreciate our administration. That's why they trust us and give us another chance to lead Nigeria.
The National Integrity Movement has remained a frontline support organ of the APC during the last election and intends to sustain the efforts at the post-election era for continuity and progress at all levels. Meanwhile, the All Rights Foundation Africa, a civil society organization, has lauded the leadership of the People's Democratic Party for providing the enabling environment for persons with disabilities to be voted into office. This was at a solidarity visit on the party's leadership in Abuja. Timothy Yusuf reports.
This visit of the leadership of the PDP by TAF Africa is an appreciation of the inclusiveness policy of the party for yielding its platform to some persons with disabilities to contest elections. One of them is the governor-elect of Akwa Ibom State, Mr. Umo Eno, who is living with albinism, and the governorship candidate of the party in Niger State is Saliman Kantigi.
We want to motivate you with some of our projects. Number one is what we call Able to Serve campaign. It's geared towards getting the incoming administration, the governor-elects and the sitting governors to move the wheel and go from just the mere appointment of persons with disability as SAs.
We have the responsibility to the members and also to the society and also to your members that they should feel free at any time to join the People's Democratic Party.
The leadership of the PDP also played host to the country director of the International Republican Institute. Discussions centered around deepening democratic tenets.
We are very interested in the idea of working with major political parties to improve the ability to develop policy, to institutionalize policy positions, trainings of party agents, trainings of candidates, and in particular, the idea of party institutes.
The PDP leadership promised to deliver a deepened democratic tenets through its People's Democratic Institute. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
We're watching NTA Weekend File. We'll be back shortly. Do stay. You're welcome back, and let's bring you up to speed with other news. The need for government at all levels to provide a good retirement plan for its workforce, especially in the area of housing, cannot be overemphasized. This was a take of stakeholders at the commissioning ceremony of the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria, Lagos State Development and Property Corporation Housing Estate, Omoren, Ogun State. Adeobi Obiochina brings us the details.
Housing, one of the basic needs of man, when provided, can improve the mental and psychological well-being of individuals, especially at retirement age. To this end, the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria, in collaboration with the Lagos State Development and Property Corporation, commissioned a 72 blocks of flats for members of its Million Cooperative. Lagos State Governor, represented by the Permanent Secretary, Lagos State Ministry of Housing, Kalma Oluwashogu, said the building is in line with the state government's agenda of providing a good retirement accommodation for its retired workforce.
It is the duty of every government to provide for its workforce, particularly provide an avenue for them to be able to access loans that will enable them build their own property.
Others applauded the initiative, saying it will ease the burden of high cost of living, especially in cities like Lagos State.
All regulators approved an increase in the National Housing Fund mortgage from 15 million naira to 50 million per applicant in response to requests by the higher income end segment of the NHF subscribers.
So it's not restricted to government workers, it's open to all Nigerian workers. And in fact, the bank had only recently expanded it to even the informal sector. They can be contributors and benefit from such housing scheme. And then our own concern also in LSTPC, from my MD all the way down to the other executive directors and management, is something that will bring joy to members of our staff, and this is the evidence.
Owners of the apartments were presented with certificates of ownership. The building consists of 2 and 3 bedroom flats for members with payment plans stretching between 15 to 30 years. Adobe Obiechina, NTA News.
In the meantime, the All Progressives Congress APC-led government, which would be inaugurated come May 29, 2023, has a plan to address the housing deficit in Nigeria. Governor Nasir Ahmed El-Rufai of Kaduna State said this when he laid the foundation for construction of 550 housing units in Gombe. Emmanuel Akila reports.
The plan for 550 housing units situated at the Shango Garden layout, according to Governor Nasir Ahmed El-Rufai, defeats a housing scheme that can solve the problem of housing deficit in Nigeria.
I think the steps taken by Gombe are the right steps, which is to partner with the private sector and other investors to build housing. But the problem of housing deficit will never be addressed until we have a national mortgage system. The administration of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu has already promised that they will come up with a national mortgage system, single-digit interest, 15 to 20 years repayment.
Our goal is to create a habitable environment for Gombe residents while at the same time attracting investors and developers.
The project is designed with a view to solving the problems associated with land administration in the state.
There are IDPs from Yobe, IDPs from Borno, IDPs from Yola. They all come to reside in Gombe and there are no houses for them.
The water booster station is constructed here in order to serve the layout as well as the surrounding environment.
Governor Nasir Ahmed El-Rufai and Governor Muhammad Ino Yahya proceed to formally inaugurate the Gombe Geographic Information Systems (GOGIS) in an agro-allied company attracted by the favorable business atmosphere, which has earned Gombe State the first position in the ease of doing business in Nigeria. In Gombe, Emmanuel Akila, NTA News.
To education matters, the rescheduled 2023 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination (UTME) for candidates with one issue or the other on their scheduled date has been held in Oyo State. Monitoring the exercise in Ibadan, JAMB Head of Information Dr. Fabian Benjamin said the exercise is to ensure no eligible candidate loses the opportunity to sit for the examination. Kayode Oladoshu has the details.
Some candidates whose examinations were rescheduled by the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAMB, testified to the smooth conduct of the exercise. For Aminat Sulaiman Yahya, however, it was a different ball game, as she allegedly, through an online influencer, Saeed Oladele, in a viral video claimed that the examination body has rescheduled her 3 times to no avail. This was, however, proved otherwise.
When she mentioned it to me, she said she has gone to the center twice. So I would like to clarify that she has just written the test again, not the 3rd time.
I want to thank Job for making this unique opportunity. I'm sorry for making this difficult. I'm sorry.
JAMB therefore urged parents and guardians to desist from any act related to examination malpractices.
Not all messages that you get on social media are actually the true position of things. Please, Nigerians should try to always verify, not just take these messages with line and sinker. Because there is no way a candidate will be in Ibadan or want to write exam in Ibadan and will push the candidate to go and write exam in Abuja. We are also parents. And there is no way this candidate would have been rescheduled to write exam repeatedly, the way it's been alleged out there.
The examination body pledged to continue excellent service delivery in the conduct of JAMB examinations. In Ibadan, Kayode Oladoshu, NTA News.
Minister of Education Adamu has expressed satisfaction with the conduct of the rescheduled 2023 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination. Olahika Ojo reports that the Education Minister Adamu, while monitoring along with the Registrar of the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAMB, Professor Ishaq Olodi, at the CBT Center located in Mambila Barracks, Asokoro, Abuja, applauded the smooth conduct of the 2023 UTME exercise.
they started the exact time. So as it was a delay, everything went well.
Time now for the discussion segment on Weekend File, but let's take this first set of report to drive the conversation, as causes of road crashes can be categorized into two: mechanical and human error. However, efforts to curb the consistency of occurrences and reoccurrences has been quite herculean. Let's join Oyeyemi Ajayi for more on the causes and efforts of curbing the menace in the country.
Road traffic crashes remain a puzzle yet to be solved globally. With efforts, measures, policies and even sanctions to curb the menace, the hydra-headed monster tends to still raise its ugly head, and as many say, the end to it is not in sight anytime soon. The World Health Organization estimates that over 1.3 million people die every year as a result of traffic crashes worldwide, and more than half of all road traffic deaths are among vulnerable road users, including pedestrians, cyclists and motorcyclists. Africa is top on the list of world's highest road accident deaths rates, and Nigeria is topping that list of African countries with the most traffic accident-related fatalities. The National Bureau of Statistics, however, reveals that 1,834 people died out of 3,345 road accidents that occurred in the country between January and March 2022. The Federal Safety Corps, on its part, has segmented the basic causes of road crashes that occur on the road into three: the environment, which is the road; the car itself, which is termed mechanical; and human error, either by omission or commission.
That is why we have been doing a lot of public education, enlightenment and advocacy to let people know that they have to form the habit of being safe.
In Nigeria, preference for night journeys by drivers cannot be underestimated. This has over time brought concerns, especially with its contribution to the statistics of road crashes in the country.
And when there's a crash, help does not even come so easily because people are not there. FRS does not even patrol in the night. We only have rescue services all over the nation. So that night journey is what we, in as much as we do not have the powers to stop it, we're advocating that people should desist.
The Federal Safety Corps, aside the establishment of mobile courts to try offenders, highlighted the fact that motorists must strictly adhere to road signs and rules in order to support the road management agencies in curbing crashes on the roads. Oyeyemi Ajayi, NTA News.
Now, with no fewer than 45,000 vehicles plying the 127.6 kilometers Lagos-Ibadan expressway daily, the route is one of the busiest interstate roads in the country. Amid this voluminous vehicle movement is the enduring problem of incessant road crashes, which account for a high share of national fatalities. Joel Popoala reports that these accidents identified with road traffic infractions by motorists, experts say, can be tackled through collaborative efforts of all stakeholders.
The Lagos-Ibadan Expressway is a major economic zone that connects the west to the eastern and northern part of the country. The spate of accidents on the road is becoming worrisome, claiming scores of lives annually, often due to circumstances that are avoidable. With the ongoing construction and rehabilitation of some sections of the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway resulting in gridlocks, many road users have thrown caution to the wind as they flagrantly drive against traffic, which could cause more havoc. These acts of lawlessness, in addition to other factors such as poor maintenance of vehicles, are major factors causing accidents.
These Okada riders, they don't hear come. But whatever they hear is good. And if we see them, they're taking one ways. So that's a problem.
Therefore, we have to take patience. We don't need to be rushed. Because if we begin to rush, because of the demarcation they do, so at times, 2 trailers cannot pass.
Lagos State Sector Commander of the Federal Road Safety Corps, Babatunde Fayoye, says enforcement has been intensified to reduce road crashes to the barest minimum.
We are trying as much as possible to ensure that we arrest the situation. If accident will even happen at all, it should be incident without fatality.
The FRSC is also giving priority attention to Otedola Bridge and the Ojuelegba Bridge, which are prone to accidents.
All these older trucks that can easily roll back when ascending that hill or that slope, we are encouraging them to look for alternative routes.
Experts maintain that attitudinal change and cooperative efforts can help reduce road mishaps. In Lagos, Joel Bukbola, NTA News.
And in the studio tonight to talk about these issues and how to find a lasting solution to insistent car crashes in Nigeria is the Corps Marshal of the Federal Road Safety Corps Commission, Dauda Alibiu. He's here to talk about these boiling issues that has been, I would say, terrorizing the psyche of Nigerians in recent times. So welcome to Weekend File.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Of recent, we've seen terrible, horrific crashes on our Nigerian roads, and believe me, psychologically it has affected a lot of people because of the level of death and level of destruction that has happened of recent. In the last 1 month, so many of these issues have been in the news recently. Just yesterday, we had about one in Gusau, I think, with about 9 deaths. Isn't that overwhelming?
Yes, we have been having these challenges of recent, especially crashes with high fatalities. And from our own perspective, we discover that, like the Gusau axis you mentioned, usually they carried trailers carried goods, animals, along with human beings, with passengers. So where you have such crashes, the chances of survival is very limited. And then the other commercial buses that carry passengers also, they overload the vehicles, they go on high speed, and then in most cases they carry extra petrol in their vehicles. That is why of recent you see most of these crashes are accompanied by fire outbreak, with the passengers even burnt beyond recognition. So those are the challenges that we are currently facing, and of which we have come up with strategies to counter this. Of recent, we have directed our commanding officers to impound any trailer vehicle that carries goods and passengers. We have been doing that, and this thing is very common in the northwest axis. We have, and then also the bus drivers, we have engaged them. We have engaged their union. We called them to our office for meeting. The return, the NURCW, the NATO, and even the Nupeng PTD. We have engaged them. We have talked to them. We have set off mobile courts along the route that will try offenders. Now, where we get a vehicle that is overloaded, we bring down the passengers to the requirement by law, as required by law. Then we bring the vehicle, or we may allow the vehicle to go and get another vehicle to transit the passengers. Then we have issue of speed, because we discovered that 50% of the crashes we have now are speed induced. So we are working on strategies. First, we came up with the speed limiting device to install in vehicles, especially passenger and other commercial vehicles. They have some resistance in that respect, because the vehicle owners complain of the cost. Then they also complain that when those devices are installed, they tamper with the operation of their vehicle. But we are going to resolve that. We are planning very soon. We are going to hold a stakeholders conference so that we can explore the possibility of ensuring that vehicles manufactured in Nigeria are pre-fitted with the speed limiting devices, and then vehicles imported or vehicles to be imported to Nigeria must have those devices also installed before they are allowed to come into Nigeria. We hope that with this measure, we are going to reduce the level of crashes, the fatalities and injuries that accompany these crashes. This is what we are doing now.
Okay, we'll go on a break now, but when we come back, we'll talk about, the efforts you're putting in both on the international scene, because you've been able to attend some conferences outside this country to talk about road safety. We'll talk about that when we come back. We'll take a break. When we return, more reports to stay. Welcome back to Weekend File, and my guest, the Co-Marshal Federal Road Safety Commission, Dauda Alibiu, is still seated here in the studio. Sir, the FRSC was established in line with its vision of eradicating road crashes and creating an enabling environment for Nigerian road users, and the WHO 2.8% puts us at 54th on the global stage. So far, how can you describe FRSC's effort in meeting up with UN Decade of Action for Road Safety 2021 to 2030?
Yes, the Federal Road Safety Commission has is actually working with the World Health Organization towards reducing road traffic crashes on our highways. Our target has been set by the UN for the decade of action to reduce road traffic crashes and attendant fatalities by 50%. We are working on that. We have also set up our own strategy, because everywhere we set our goals in line with the United Nations guideline. So, and then we have also acceded to the United Nations Convention on Road Traffic Science. We are a member of the West African Road Safety Organization, and also we are trying to establish to ensure that the Road Safety Observatory for Africa, that's a platform where you have all the data on road crashes in Africa, to host it in Nigeria here. These are all towards achieving the goals set by the United Nations. And then we are improving on the safe system too, because we have adopted it, and we are working with different agencies, even in Nigeria, the state governments, the Federal Ministry of Finance, and several other stakeholders, because the safe system itself, as said by the United Nations, is to ensure that all stakeholders are brought together and they work together, bringing energy and purpose together, so that we can achieve this reduction in fatalities and road crashes. That's what the road safety is doing currently.
Okay, now in most of your enlightenment and education campaigns, you have always put night driving to be a major cause of road traffic crash. Now, how would you describe the level of enlightenment to curb it? And you've talked about sanctions upon sanctions severally to punish offenders this time around. What new punitive measures are you bringing up on offenders?
Yes, one of the things we are doing now, and we are working with the Nigerian Bar Association. In fact, we started this process with the chambers of Femi Falano sometimes back. But we are bringing the NBA. So one of the strategies we want to adopt is the victim right. That is the right of the victim who is injured, or his relations who lost their person. So what we intend to be doing now is we are going to prosecute drivers and vehicle owners whenever there is a crash that involves injury and loss of life. On the issue of night travel, I must tell you that not quite long we invited operators of buses. We noticed that buses, passenger buses, are mostly involved in this night travel, and then they had a lot of crashes and people die. When you have a crash in the night, there is what we call a community first respondent. That is the community around, the one that are expected to come and offer assistance. But if it is night, most people have gone to sleep. The victims will be there maybe until daytime before any aid will come to them, and by then most of them will have died or must have suffered serious injuries. Then you know, of course, the visibility is low in the night, and then you have some vehicles too that they don't have enough lighting even at the rear end of the vehicle. So the tendency is that vehicles coming from behind will crash into those vehicles that are ahead of them. And then you have fatigue also. People are normally tired, they get to sleep in the night, but then the driver will pick passengers, maybe take some drugs that probably will keep him awake. So even the effect of that drug will make the driver to behave in such a manner that is dangerous to his own life and the life of the passengers he's carrying. So that's why we try to discourage the night travel. We cannot stop it because it's a constitutional matter. We can't stop somebody from moving, but we are appealing to people as much as possible. Unless it becomes absolutely necessary, please avoid night trip so that you can be safe and you can be alive.
Well, we talked about human error also as the cause of most of these road crashes. Now let's talk about the system itself. What punishment we've heard of erring officers who collect bribe and allow these cars to move on, or in a car is not in good condition, collect bribe and go. So what punishments or sanctions are you imposing on these erring officers? Because there are some cases of bribery and so on.
Yes. There's always a Judas in any society. If you check our record, if we have time to go and see our record in the office, we have a lot of staff that we terminated because of bribe taking. Some of them we reduce their rank. Some there are various punishment. So we don't joke with that. We don't tolerate bribe taking. They do it, but we arrest them. We send our surveillance team, the INT department, and there was a time we were even working with ICPC to arrest them and prosecute them. So we are on it. Our records are there. We have terminated so many staff. Many of them are writing to be reconsidered and begging, but we don't accede to such requests. So if there's any such case, it should be reported to us. But we are also out. Our undercover men are out arresting our area staff that indulge in bribe taking and other infractions on the highways.
Well, I hope these measures and sanctions will help in reducing, the rate of road crashes in Nigeria.
I hope so.
Marshal Federal Road Safety Commission, Dauda Alibiu, thank you so much for coming on Weekend File. It's been a pleasure having you on the show.
Yes, thank you.
We'll take a break. When we return, more on Weekend File. Do stay. Back Sports Update is next.
Few weeks to the expected official handover of the newly regrassed training pitch 1 of the Moshood Abiola National Stadium in Abuja, Minister of Youth and Sports Development, Sunday Dare, has inspected the ongoing project. Dare's visit was to examine the level of work done by the contractors.
Once you have a green football pitch, that is a stadium. It's wrong. I keep saying it. A stadium is not a housing complex. A stadium is not a 5-bedroom flat. It's not a duplex. It's not a bungalow. A stadium is a specialized structure that caters for a lot of activities, professional.
Meanwhile, match the 17th of the Nigeria Premier Football League continues Sunday with mouth-watering clashes. The big one will see Shooting Stars play away to Group A leaders Bendel Insurance. Enyimba at home to Gombe United. Remo Stars go head-to-head with Plateau United, while Dakada host Lobby Stars with Rivers United and Bayelsa United trading tackles. Away to the English Premier League, leaders Manchester City moved 4 points clear at the top of the table with a 2-1 win over relegation-threatened Leeds United at the Etihad. Mohamed Salah's early goal helped Liverpool beat Brentford 1-0, moving them a point behind 4th-placed Manchester United. Harry Kane overtook Wayne Rooney to become the league's second highest goal scorer of all time after netting in Tottenham's 1-0 win over Crystal Palace, while Frank Lampard won his first game since returning as Chelsea manager as the Blues beat Bournemouth 3-1 at the Vitality Stadium. In tennis, Petra Kvitova has withdrawn from next week's Italian Open with an injury to her right foot. The Czech world number 10, who won the Miami Open last month, hopes to recover in time for the second Grand Slam of the year at the French Open. And finally, federal civil servants in Abuja Saturday morning converged on the Moshood Abiola National Stadium for their monthly exercise with a focus to keep fit and maintain a healthy lifestyle, which will in turn increase their productivity.
Of the social interaction, apart from the benefit of keeping fit for healthy living, the essence of that social interaction is very key.
The next edition of the exercise is billed for the last weekend of May. With sports update by Bea Adeleye, NTA News.
Let's take a look at the weather prospect for Nigeria and the rest of the world.
There, we expect a quiet morning weather-wise across the country, as most places will be cloudy with sunshine intervals, except for Cross River and Akwa Ibom, where isolated morning thunderstorms are likely. As the day progresses, with availability of moisture coupled with insolation, there are good prospects for widespread of thunderstorms across the central cities, and this should also extend to parts of Adamawa, Taraba, and Kaduna State. To the southern half of the country, isolated cases of thunderstorms are expected over Oyo, Ondo, Osun, Ogun, Edo, some parts of Abia, Imo, Anambra, and Ebonyi. Areas within the stretch of the coastal belt are also expected to watch out for more thunderstorms. Over the north, it is expected to be slightly hazy over Borno, Yobe, and Jigawa. That's our bit from here. For more updates, please download NIMET app on Play Store and iOS. I am Joyce Ogunleye. I'll see you again.
And that's it on NTA Weekend File. Thank you so much for your time. I am Jummai Yusuf.